tighter coherence between these bands, so that blue wave can be almost superimposed on that red wave there.
Okay.
70% of that cardio wave in red is controlled directly by your breathing. The other 30% or so has to do with genetics and diet and age and exercise. So I'm going to save this, and we'll do a before and after. So I'm just going to save this data, and then we'll reset and go from there. Just printing it to file here. Now I'll give you some more tips before we start, some goals. First of all, you see this green ball here, it's going to start on this side of the screen and go on that side. That's a pacer, that's just for you. And it seems like you're pretty well keeping the pace, so you're actually going a little bit slower at 5.4 breaths per minute. It's set so that you're at 7 breaths per minute is what it's set for. That would be a goal. You can set it however you want. And I'm going to set yours about 5.5 breaths per minute. Alright, so there's the pacer. You don't have to follow that exactly. But what you are looking for is a match between your blue and your red line. It's almost like a little video game. Let's spread this out here. And the graph's going to adjust. That's the gain that's adjusting to fit everything on the screen. You got a scale here. And I'm going to explain that scale. It's your heart rate. So that when you're starting, when you're at this point here, you're about 108 beats per minute. And then down here, you're about 70. So you want that variation, you want those big waves. But don't try hard to breathe deep. It's more restorative to breathe slow, just naturally. And as you're breathing through your nose, I noticed, that's very helpful. Nasal breathing is optimal. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start here. You've got a spike here in the low frequency like I mentioned. That's a healthy sign. I'm going to slow down your pacer here because you're breathing nice and slowly. Go down, notch it down to go 6 breaths per minute. And have to be exact. Checking in on your temperature, you're right around 87, 87.5, almost 88 degree finger temperature. That continues to go up, and ideally you will want it to be in the lower 90s when you're really relaxed. And your skin conductance, that's how much you're sweating, your micro sweat. Notice that's going down as your finger temperature goes up. That's what you'd like to see. Anything below 7 indicates low physiological arousal. So you start at about 7 and you're going down as you set out to relax. And it's very sensitive to movement, you'll notice. Back on the temperature. You can see how this is pretty predictable. As you inhale, your heart rate goes up. These boxes here become more concentrated. As you exhale, they become more spread out. So at this point, she is beating at about 70 beats per minute. At this point, up around 100 beats per minute. You want that variation. It's about 30 there. And the actual heart rate variability, I can give you that stat here. It's 31.2. It's a nice healthy variation. That's a variation between the interbeat intervals between your heartbeats. Here you have tight coherence between your cardio wave and your respiration wave. I'll just give you a snapshot to compare. Look at this pattern here. Look how they're running almost on top of each other. That's a good sign. And then I'm just going back to your last one. See how it's not quite as correlated as tightly. But here, you can match them up this way. It's almost like a game. see how the wave, the blue wave goes down a little more gradually on the right side? That's as you exhale. This is a healthy sign. You want it to go down gradually as you exhale. Exhale very gradually, let it out slowly. And she's coming up a little bit sharper on the inhale. That's natural. You want to extend that time that your heartbeat is beating at a slower pace. And that's as you exhale. So she has more heartbeats in these boxes, indicated by the boxes, as she inhales and comes up sharply. And then as she exhales, she extends the time that her heart rate and blood pressure are lower. You can see that with the amount of boxes or beats that heartbeats she has there. So that will give you an overall general lower heart rate and lower blood pressure through that process. I'm going to give you just a few more seconds and I'll pause it and see where you are. Okay, how did you feel just then?
More or less, but as you were talking I was getting a little more active when looking at it.
Yeah, that tends to happen, especially when people are new on this. They might tend to worry a little bit and they want to beat their record. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're putting pressure on yourself. And you can see how she's done that right here at the end, because the VLF, the very low frequency, is higher than the low frequency. So that's the blue. There's more energy right towards the end. This is a three-dimensional view. What this is saying is that there's some mental pressure or rumination or worry. Mm-hmm. And so you are putting pressure on yourself to perform here at this point. And that's why you have a little more energy. It's indicated numerically by the 1.5 over the 1.1. So it was reversed. You had that spike at the beginning. You can see it in the background. See that green color? You had the spike that like a bell-shaped curve. And then that kind of flattened out towards the end when you started trying harder. But relaxed breathing is just about effortless breathing. So the harder you try, the worse you'll do. Yeah? So you put some pressure on yourself, and when you did that, you had a little bit more of the stress response that kicked in. So you got a little anxious when you were trying to beat your record. But before that, you can see earlier how you were in a relaxed state, and you just kind of let yourself go. All right. Any questions about that?
That's good.
All right. Good job.
Thank you.